Welcome to the Terrible Take, a mini podcast telling Steelers Nation what's been on our minds. I'm Joe Clark. It seems like every day there's a new analyst professing how the Steelers will compete for first place in the AFC North, and then another saying why they're a lock for last place. There was recently even a full segment on ESPN's morning show, Get Up, dedicated to an argument of whether or not Pittsburgh would finish in last, in which Jeff Darlington and Mike Tannenbaum argued against Louis Riddick about whether the Steelers would finish in last. Riddick said it was ridiculous to assume Pittsburgh would finish in last, while Darlington and Tannenbaum defaulted to, well, nobody else can finish in last, so it's going to be the Steelers. Just a few short months ago, ESPN's Dan Orlovsky said that the Steelers were going to make some noise this year, and now it's, well, the division is loaded, so the Steelers are going to come in last. Then there's people who have been around the team and have been to training camp, like Daniel Jeremiah, who think that they compete for the top of the division. Something that former Steelers linebacker Ryan Shazier said on the Second Win podcast the other day really stood out to me. In essence, he basically said that the people doubting the Steelers in 2023 are the ones who didn't watch every game last season and didn't see the growth that Kenny Pickett showed throughout the season. It's easy enough to go off paper and say he's the worst quarterback in the division, and therefore the Steelers are the worst team in the division. The people who have watched and been around the team are the ones who are confident in their chances, and to me, that matters. Even if you want to make the argument that Pickett is worse than Deshaun Watson, who, looked pretty bad last season after a year and a half away from the football field, that's fine. You can make that argument. But there's a reason Pittsburgh hasn't finished in last place in the division since 1989, and they've never come in last place in the current iteration of the AFC North. There's just that winning culture that permeates throughout the organization. And while they haven't had much success recently when it matters in the postseason, they're not a team that's just going to roll over and die after a slow start. We've seen that time and time again. Last season, after a 2-6 start, the team battled in the second half to go to 9-8. There's been times they started 0-4 and finished to, at least get to 500. A slow start's not gonna. It's bleak, but it's not gonna end their season. No matter how bleak things are gonna look, the Steelers team is going to fight until the very last whistle of the very last game. So yeah, sure, the Steelers are a divisive team. The Orlovskis and the Tannenbaums of the world can keep arguing about the strength of an always strong AFC North. But I'm going to side with history on this one and believe that the Steelers will be fighting for a playoff spot until the very end.